Hey guys, Micah from Black Bear Custom Kydex here, and today we are going to do a really fun video for me. I hope you guys enjoy this as well. So these two sheaths are going to a lady in Winchester, Virginia named Amy, as well as her son, her 10-year-old son. She says that he's a big fan of my channel, which really warmed my heart. It always makes me, really overjoyed and happy to hear about youth getting into outdoors things, because with the way the world has just been going, really for decades now, it's tending to put kids more inside and have unhealthy lifestyles, and my generation included in that. So I really love it and am an advocate for kids to get outside and to enjoy the sun and the wilderness and do some camping, bushcrafting, things like that. So anyway, so I don't know if it was like for a birthday or anything, or just like because, but she bought him this sheath system. So let me go ahead and walk you through the two sheaths. She got one for herself and one for him. I'm going to show you hers first. So let's get into it. All right. So what we have here is classic RAT-3 from Ontario Knife Company, and you guys might recognize it as being very, very similar to the SE3 as well. Of course, they are almost identical in every way, shape, and form, and I believe the scales are interchangeable between the two. I could be wrong. Oh no, I guess the tail end of the handle and the pommel there is a little bit different between them. But in any case, they are both very comparable knives, so I love them both. And what she asked for was this orange Topo Recon print. So we got here that setup with a cigarette pouch on the front, not to actually carry a cigarette, that's just the style of the pouch, what it's called. And these had a molly strap on the back of them, so I removed the molly strap and I actually put grommets into them, which you can't really see. I guess you'd be able to see where those binding posts are. Those are eyelets, like the same eyelets that you see all over the sheets. So we were able to attach those pouches by making eyelets and then creating coincident spacing on the sheaths themselves. And that's why you see these as kind of squares, so that they really match up with the pouch. So the sheaths themselves are kind of a square tip, which typically I wouldn't recommend apart from having a pouch on it. There's no real advantage. She also wanted to put this 1/2-inch ferro rod on there, so I got that on there for you, Amy, as well as with some shock cord. Inside, she has a tin and a flashlight, and they are matching tins and flashlights for both pouches. So I'll spare you the specifics on the second go around here. So there you go. That's pretty much that. Now up here we have a tech lock for the carry setup, but she also asked me if I could do it on a pivot plate. As you guys know, I've been doing these Lexan or polycarb pivot plates, having them machined and then attaching the tech lock to it. These are super, super rugged. They're literally bulletproof glass. So this material Lexan is extremely versatile and functions really nicely in this application. You can tighten the tech lock down and make it very difficult to rotate, or you can have it set very loose. I have it pretty high resistance so that it doesn't turn on you accidentally, but at the same time, it's not so tight that you can't move it and maneuver it by hand. So you should be all set there, but obviously you can open up your tech lock and adjust the tension on that. The idea with the pivot plate is to give you carry setups ranging from a horizontal to a vertical with that 90-degree pivot and anything in between, obviously. And to be able to do that on the fly without having to use tools is just really, really valuable. Now, another really cool thing about the tech lock on the pivot plate is that it functions really nicely for a variety of different angle carries with the tech lock itself, or you can open that up and add my clasp dangler. So now you can, got to make sure you close the tech lock all the way. There we go. And then you can lock it with that little U-shaped gate. And there you go. Now this is set up as a dangler, which is really awesome. So you can very quickly switch between dangler and tech lock carry by simply opening up your tech lock. So there you go, guys. Now this one does have a little piece of leather that I bonded over the face, and it is getting chewed up just a little bit by the tech lock pressure. But the reason I threw that on there was because for some reason, I don't really have a good explanation. These were cut from the exact same piece of Kydex, yet this one doesn't quite lock in place in terms of overall thickness. It's not as tight inside the tech lock. So I thought I would just throw that leather on there for Amy's clasp dangler so that it would lock in nice and tight. So there you go. That is Amy's setup. Now let's check out the setup for her son. So she told me just to kind of do my own thing as far as color, but what she specifically requested, the Nano Striker XL attached down here, similar to the ferro rod loop on her own sheath, but the difference is this is an aluminum housing. It's not a rod that gets whittled away. The rod is actually housed inside this. So I make these a little bit more snug because you're never going to whittle this and make it not fit in the holder. So given the fact that it is snug, how I recommend drawing this, it can go either way, but this is how I like to do it. I like to brace the tip of the sheath and push it down with my thumb, and then it exposes this textured housing here, and you can just kind of like twist it out. If you are going to twist rather than pull, I recommend twisting clockwise, because otherwise you may just unthread it. This is a threaded housing here. So that's how I do it personally. But I find it to be fairly easy, but there is some resistance on it, so be ready and prepped for that. Now he also has a tech lock, also on a pivot plate, and he also has a clasp dangler here. You can see the logo plates. Oh, for the color scheme, guys, I chose Coyote Gray as the base layer there, a full double layer sheath to make it really rugged, and we have Cryptek Highlander overlay on it. So the upper layer is Highlander, the under layer is Coyote Gray, and then we have one little accent plate here on the face. Now his knife, I apologize, I will put it in the description or in the title of the video, but I can't recall the name of the knife off the top of my head. I really do like this thing though. It's very cool, beautiful handle work. The only thing that's hard about a knife like this is putting it into Kydex. There's not really anything for the maker to have it latch onto. So instead of doing the typical move, which is to just have the Kydex pinching the blade and having it put scratches all over this gorgeous knife, we opted to go with a retention strap. In this case, the retention strap is 100% necessary. I don't want there to be any illusions or confusion about this. So this is a pull the dot snap. That means that it needs to be rolled toward the tip to close it. And once it's in there, this knife isn't going anywhere. It's in there nice and snug. But when you open it, you have to open it from the tip. And now it is a little bit difficult. You're competing with some space because of the pouch on here. But if you just kind of get your finger up and over it, you can flip that up from the tip and you should be good to go. So roll toward the tip to lock it, roll up from the tip to open it. And then as far as drawing out goes, what I recommend is that you just kind of tuck the strap out of the way when you go to draw, just so that you don't have any chance of slicing that loop by accident. So there you go. Now, what else is there to show? Oh, she also asked if I could do an engraving. I offered a custom engraving on the sheath for him because I was just jazzed about the fact that there's a kid that, you know, is this young, who has any kind of passion for outdoorsy things and who likes my channel. That really honors me greatly. So I thought I would offer a custom engraving, and she suggested that I put something on there to commemorate his dog who passed away. So yeah, so that's hard. It's tough. I'm a huge dog person, so buddy, I really feel your pain. I loved my dogs when I had dogs. I hope to have dogs in the future, and I'm sure you do as well. So it's nice to have a little bit of memorabilia to remember them by. So she asked me to put a paw print and a date, February 2020, on there. So that's what I engraved on the faceplate for him. Unfortunately, it's covered up when the strap is locked, but it is on there. And so I got thinking, well, maybe since that's covered up partially by the strap, it would be cool to also send him a little keychain. So I CNC cut this, and you can use it as like just a keychain on the small loop. You can use it as a necklace on the large loop. It is 2 pieces, and I CNC'd both and then riveted them together. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. And lastly, he's also getting a few stickers, so I'm gonna throw those on the table here before I forget. All right, guys, well, that's all I've got for you, but let me know what you think of these 2 knives. Let me know what you think of these 2 projects. I had a lot of fun building these, and I hope Amy and her son enjoy these thoroughly. Outdoor all the time, I hope, and just really do some great mother-son bonding, camping, hiking, whatever it is they like to do, bushcrafting. And I'm just honored that they chose me to produce the sheath for them. So, all right, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. Stick around for the next video. God bless.